Knauf Drywall's new mp75 projection plaster is the quick and easy choice for high-quality finished walls. And when we say quick, we mean quick. With Knauf Drywall mp75, you can finish the job up to 3 times faster than manual plastering. And it doesn't rely on elite tradesmen either. Regular plasterers can easily learn how to be proficient at projection plastering. And if you thought that projection plastering only makes sense when you've got a lot of surface to cover, think again. Knauf Drywall's mp75 system is a cost-effective answer for any room, large or small, even for awkward spaces such as stairwells and toilets. Hard to believe? Well, today we're going to show you how one 3-man team who are only on their second mp75 installation can plaster 150 square meters of wall in just one day. It's 7:30 in the morning at this industrial development in South London, and our team is just arriving. The project they're working on is a new development of small commercial units aimed at small business startups. The development includes units from just 50 square meters up to 300 square meters, and includes difficult spaces such as corridors, stairwells, kitchen areas and toilets. These will all be projection plastered with Knauf mp75. By the time they go home this afternoon, these 3 men will have plastered and finished a total of 150 square meters of walls. There are just 4 simple steps to projection plastering. First of all, you set up the machine. Then you spray and rule the plaster. Then you finish the plaster by trowel. And finally, you clean the machine. So, it's 7:45 and our team is just about to start setting up the projection machine. The first thing to do is to connect the machine to a water supply. Once the water has been connected, the machine needs to be plugged into the electricity supply. Then you need to run the water through the machine to test that it is flowing freely and to remove any air that may be in the system. The next step is to fill the hopper with plaster. The machine takes up to 3 bags in the hopper and 1 in the hose. That's enough for about 10 to 12 square meters of wall. The machine then mixes the plaster with water. Once mixed, it's drawn down to the pump and out along the mortar hose. When the plaster starts to come out of the hose, it is important to make sure that it has the right consistency. Too stiff and it'll be hard to rule and finish. Too soft and it will run down the wall. You can adjust the consistency of the plaster using the needle valve on the flow meter. Once you've set the valve, it stays set for the day, so you can be assured of the right consistency all day. It's like a mini factory on site. Whilst one man completes the setup of the machine, his mates complete the beading and preparation of the room. By 9, the machine has been set up, the room has been cleared, and we are ready to go. Time to start plastering. So, let's look at just how easy projection plastering can be. The first session covers 175 square meters wall, which includes several construction joints to allow new doorways to be knocked through in the future. It will be plastered and finished in less than 3 hours. The plaster is sprayed in overlapping bands to fill in a section approximately 2 square meters. Once one section is complete, the sprayer can move on to the next one. Notice how little mess is made. The whole wall is completed section by section. As one man sprays the plaster onto the wall, the second man of the team uses a large steel rule to form a flat and true surface on the plaster. This operation is called ruling. The third man simply loads the machine hopper with fresh bags of mp75 plaster and then cleans out the machine as the session ends. In just 3 hours on site, the first 75 square meters of wall is already sprayed and ruled. After a short break, it's time to move on to finishing the plaster. The first part of the finishing operation is to close in the surface with a spatula as the plaster starts to pick up. After a short wait, the plasterer uses a sponge float and mortar to scour the surface of the plaster and bring up the fats. The fats are then flattened onto the surface using a steel trowel. This forms the finish. As the plaster sets, the steel trowel is used again, this time with some water, to create the final glass smooth finish. It's now about midday and the first 75 square meters of wall is completed. Time for a quick break for lunch. The afternoon session includes a medium-sized office plus a small storeroom with a total of 75 square meters of wall. We will plaster them in exactly the same way as earlier: spraying, ruling, sponging and troweling. Once again, after the spraying and ruling are completed, 2 men get on with the trowel, finishing the plaster, while the third man tackles that most essential final step in creating a perfect projection plaster finish: cleaning the machine. The machine needs to be cleaned after each spraying session, and it must be cleaned especially well after the final spray of the day. With our clock showing 3:30, just 8 hours after we arrived on site, spraying is finished for the day. One man can clean the machine in half an hour, whilst his mates finish off the final walls. The first thing he does is to pump out any surplus plaster from the hopper before turning the machine off. He then takes the machine's mixing shaft out and replaces it with the cleaning shaft, and runs the machine for a few seconds as he hoses the mixing chamber to flush away any residue. To clean out the hoses, he puts a sponge ball in the hose and runs the water through it to clean the sides of the hose. He does this twice to make sure that the hose is really clean. And that's it, ready for the next time. It's about 4 o'clock and we're ready to go home. Our team of 3 has just plastered and finished 150 square meters of high quality finished plaster in 9 hours. And that's including setting up the machine, lunch and tea breaks, and giving the machine a final clean. With Knauf Drywall mp75 projection plaster, we can finish the job up to 3 times faster than we could using manual plaster. And remember, we've been filming a team of 3 that is only on its second mp75 contract. On the Croydon development, mp75 has been chosen as the quickest, easiest and most cost-effective way to plaster a whole range of rooms, from the smallest hallway to the largest workshop. This means the plastering is completed sooner, which makes space for the finishing trades to get in quicker. The building is completed quicker and the commercial yield starts sooner. Let's look at some tips on how to make the most of the projection plastering and some of the features of Knauf Drywall's mp75 system that have been designed to make life even easier for you. If you're on a site where there are interruptions to the water supply, it couldn't be simpler to set up a header tank to give a steady supply and pressure. If you need to boost water pressure, set up a small pressure pump at the feed to the projection machine. You will see that there is a serrated edge over the hopper. This is to rip the bag open and allow the plaster to fall in. If you are having trouble reaching the hopper, make a simple step from blocks or pallets. When you're running up the projection machine, use a bucket to catch the waste and save yourself a cleaning up job later. At the end of a spraying session, catch the excess contents of the hose in an old plaster bag. That's another cleaning up job saved. To ensure the best finish and drying conditions once plastering has been completed, leave all windows open throughout the working day. The projection machine is only the same size as a large office photocopier, so it will easily fit through any doors on site to let you get close to the area you want to work in. And the machine is light enough to maneuver up a staging ramp over a staircase. You don't have to have the projection machine in your way when you're working. The length of the hose means that you can set up the machine right out of your way, or even in another room. Builders don't always get the blockwork dead straight. The straight rule shows any hollows, and you can simply spray on more plaster and rule it off. The number of trowels required for the perfect glassy finish is dependent on the background, with high suction backgrounds requiring fewer than low suction ones. Normally, 2 or 3 trowels are all that is required. And when you're finished, the machine is small enough to fit in a van. One machine can cover a multitude of tasks. As well as projection plastering, you can use it for exterior rendering or floor screeding just by changing the rotor. So there you have it, the quick, simple and cost-effective route to faster plaster. The next time you think plaster, think Knauf Drywall mp75 projection plaster. It's plaster, but faster.